guys, welcome back to Making Frugal Fun. I'm Shannon and I share our family's debt-free journey to pay off over $500,000 of debt and all the frugal things that we do to get there faster. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm uploading videos every Thursday this year and I don't want you to miss any of them. It's really hard to believe that it was 3 years ago that we started our debt-free journey. I went from being a full-time doctor to being a full-time content creator, and this is now my full-time job, and I couldn't do it if you guys didn't watch. So over the last 3 years, we've done a lot of different things to cut our expenses, to live a more frugal life. And today I wanted to share with you the frugal living tips that had the biggest impact overall on our debt-free journey. My husband and I were actually talking about this the other day and how we both thought that to be financially successful, you just have to keep making more money. So you're just constantly doing everything you can to make more, to make more, to make more. The problem is if you never learn the basics of living on less than you make, you're just always trying to keep up with your spending. It just doesn't feel peaceful living that way. So of course, whenever we started our debt-free journey, the first thing I thought of was how can we make more money? But we were drowning under all of these debt payments every month and a large rental payment in the house we were living in and car payments and everything. It felt like I couldn't mentally wrap my head around trying to make more money until we got control over what we were already making. Having debt steals from your biggest, building tool, your income. If all of your money every month is going to debt, then you can't make much headway, and that's what we were experiencing. So it just so happened that we had never bought a house. We were living in a rental house with a rent payment of $2,500 a month. So the first frugal living tip that had the biggest impact on our debt-free journey was to decrease our housing payment. So we were paying $2,500 a month. We lived in a 3,000 square foot house. It was beautiful. But since it was a rental house, we really were throwing away a lot of money every month that wasn't going toward any kind of asset that was ours. And we came to the conclusion that if we downsized to a smaller house, we could save at least $1,000 a month. And we ended up finding a house that was $1,300 a month for rent. It's only 1,000 square feet, but we've been living here for 3 years now, and we will be here about another year while we finish off our debt and save our down payment for a house. It's cramped and it's tight, but it has made such a huge impact on the progress we've been able to make on our debt. Not only do we save the $1,200 a month, but we also find savings in our heating and air conditioning bills each month. We find savings in our water bill. We were able to instantly have a garage sale, and we made about $2,000 at our garage sale, selling off all of our furniture that was filling up 3,000 square feet. That was a huge turnaround right in the beginning of our debt-free journey. The next frugal living tip that made a huge impact on our debt-free journey was getting rid of car payments, which right now you can actually, because of the pandemic and shortage on cars, from my understanding, you can actually get a pretty good return if you were to sell your car. This might be a really good idea for you to do right now if your car payments are huge and you're finding that you're not able to put very much money on debt each month because you're paying, $500 to $1,000 a month for 2 huge car payments. At the time, we had a lease. That lease payment was about $500 a month. And then my husband's car, we had actually gotten paid off about a year before we started this whole thing. We were able to sell it for about $13,000. We were able to find 2 cars for the price of 1, basically, and have no car payments. So that immediately eliminated $500 from our monthly expenses. When you have no car payment, it's just an amazing feeling, and it definitely allows you to live on much less. The next thing that has really made a huge impact on our budget and our debt-free journey is meal planning. Meal planning has saved us at least $500 a month, probably much more because it eliminates the need for restaurants because of the way that we meal plan and eat at home every night. We have gone to restaurants for special occasions, birthdays. If you've been following along for a while, you probably have heard of my frugal meal planner. And it's already done for you. It's in 4 quarters, so you're rotating the meals for 3 months. and you're also eating a lot of leftovers. So you're only having to cook 3 times a week. You eat leftovers the next night. And this works for us because there's no decision fatigue when I'm making the grocery list every week. And I've tried to go rogue and be like, I'm just gonna like think of some creative meals, and I get exhausted from even trying to plan, and I always end up just going to this. And I have a meatless meal plan version now as well. So if you're vegetarian or looking for a little bit of a healthier option, I'll link that below. I've actually started making quite a few recipes from the Meatless Meal Plan. I use those sometimes for lunches. But the reason that having your meals all planned out ahead of time works is because you're much more likely to do it and to cook at home when it's already planned out. It's done for you. The grocery lists are here. And that by far has been one of the biggest money savers each month for us, because just groceries alone, we were probably spending $1,200 a month. And now we stick to a grocery budget of about $100 a week by sticking to this plan. It prevents us from stopping by fast food on the way home because we know we already have the leftovers, or we have a meal plan, we have all the ingredients, everything's ready to go. The fourth frugal living tip that made a big impact on our debt-free journey is doing a break-even analysis on childcare. A lot of people assume that they can't afford to be a stay-at-home parent, but sometimes you can't afford not to be a stay-at-home parent. So when we started the journey, all 3 kids were still in daycare, and we were paying $3,000 a month. We were both working as doctors, but we own our practice together, and we're only seeing enough patients where it makes sense for one doctor. So it was almost like I was just kind of there, and I really wanted to be home with my kids, and I really wanted to work on my blog. That's where my heart was, and I was like, we could save $3,000 if I stayed home and worked on my blog and stayed with the kids. So it made a lot more sense for our family. And we did a few different creative things. At first, when I was still having to work a little bit, I went to part-time, and we put our kids in Mother's Day out programs. We also tried changing off days. So like he worked one day and I worked the next day, and the other parent stayed home with the kids. So there's some different creative things you can do, but don't assume that putting your kids in daycare so that you can work is the only way that you can make money. Sometimes the other parent can stay home and do things like meal planning and working on cutting costs on household expenses, plus saving the daycare, and it can make a bigger impact on your debt-free journey than if you were working and working and working and sending all of that money to childcare. So if you haven't taken time to sit down and really look at your budget and look at how much you're spending on daycare versus how much you make, spend on gas and all of those things, that is a great way to be really confident that you're doing the best thing for your family and your budget. Number 5, this is mostly for those that are self-employed or don't get health insurance as a benefit at their job. So we were spending about $1,500 a month for our Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, and we switched to Christian Healthcare Ministries, which is a health sharing plan, which basically means we pay cash for the majority of our doctor visits. However, if something catastrophic were to happen, they would cover anything over $5,000 per occurrence. We have like the most minimal plan, the bronze plan. As soon as we're out of debt, we might increase that coverage, and we will probably eventually go back to a regular health insurance plan. We only pay $275 a month for all 5 of us. So obviously we're saving, over $1,000 a month using the health sharing plan. Okay, number 6 is just writing down your debt and keeping track of it. This is a frugal living tip that you should always do, whether you're in debt or you feel like you're super comfortable and have tons of money. Keeping track of your spending, keeping track of your debt is something that can help you stay motivated and aware of things getting out of hand. Before we started our debt-free journey, I had no idea how much student loan debt we had, and I was scared to even look at it, and it caused a problem because there was fear, anxiety. My husband and I were not on the same page, and we didn't realize how big of an issue we had until we actually wrote it down and looked at it. So we keep a debt payoff tracker, a on our refrigerator, and we keep track every month of how much we're paying off. We know how much is left, and we're able to make better decisions in the budget because of that. And on that note, doing a budget every month. Budgets are for everyone. Everybody needs to be on a budget. I don't care if you're Jeff Bezos and you make billions of dollars a year. You need to be on a budget, because if you don't have your spending categorized, you're gonna spend it wherever, whenever. I used to live by, oh, there's money in the bank, so I'm gonna go buy these cute outfits at Old Navy this weekend. Really, I should have said, hey, I have $100 in my clothing budget this month, so I can go to the store and spend that. A budget is not really meant to be restrictive. It's meant to be a plan for your spending. So doing a budget every month, that should have been like the number one frugal living tip that has the biggest impact. Creating a plan for every single dollar that you make each month is the best way to decide how much you're going to be able to put on debt each month, and to going forward, how much you can invest, how much you can save for your kids' college, and how much you can donate and be generous with, and how much you can spend for fun. My number 8 frugal living tip with the biggest impact is definitely using cash envelopes. I thought the pandemic would kill our cash envelope living, because a lot of places went to like cashless. However, what we do is we have the money allocated in the cash envelopes every month, and then if we make an online purchase, or if somewhere doesn't take cash and we use our debit card, then we take the cash out of the envelope and we put it in like a little bucket where we keep our change and everything, and then at the end of the month we just go put it back in the bank. So that's how we keep track of online spending. Things like rent and our utilities and YouTube TV that we use, all of those expenses, they just come out auto draft every month of the account, and so we don't pull cash out for everything. It does a world of wonders for your miscellaneous spending though. So like if we have a holiday coming up like Halloween, we have envelopes like, this is how much we're gonna spend on Halloween candy, and this is how much we're gonna spend on costumes. And it really helps us, because before we were using cash envelopes, it was just like, oh, we need this, we need that, we need to go grab some candy, or that Halloween decoration's on sale at Home Depot, let's grab that because it's on sale. So having those envelopes are awesome for accountability. Number 9 is literally just not caring what other people think. That is probably the hardest thing overall when you're on a debt-free journey. We've done a lot of weird things. A lot of people have opinions about what we're doing. A lot of people have opinions about Dave Ramsey and his plan and all of that stuff. But it feels really right for us. Like this, whenever we're doing the plan, it feels right. And on that note, as kind of like a debt-free journey update for you guys, and I'll do another one where I go into more detail soon, but I have been thinking like, I want to be out of this house by the summer. Like I want to move. So what if we just shuffle the baby steps around a little bit, and we'll be able to save up our emergency fund after we move, and then we'll finish off our student loans like right after we move, and everything will be fine. But I felt really stressed and anxious about that plan. And so when my husband and I recently sat down and really dug into how much debt we have left, how much we really need for a down payment, and also just looking at the fact that there's like no houses available, we decided, listen, we've done this for 3 years. Let's finish it out. Let's stick it out. If we have to stay in this house for another year, it's gonna be fine. Like it'll be so much better if we do things the right way. And I felt instant peace after having that discussion, knowing that we're going to be done with our student loans before summer. There was a time when I thought we'd be done before the end of the year, before the end of 2021. But I want to make sure that we have enough saved for taxes. Since we're self-employed, sometimes we get a little shocking tax bill that's quite high. So I made a lot of money this year with my blog, so it's going to be a lot of self-employed taxes that I'm going to have to pay that are different than any year prior. So I want to make sure we have a little bit saved. I don't want to rush anything. We're kind of just saving through the end of January, and then over February, March, and April, we should be able to finish the student loans. Then we will start saving our emergency fund, which will be about 3 to 6 months of our expenses. then we'll just start saving for a down payment. And that plan sounds so much better than trying to rush into everything, especially with the way the housing market is right now. It's not a good time to really rush into anything. And I want to feel secure when we move so we don't end up right back where we are. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these frugal living tips give you some ideas of how to jumpstart your debt-free journey, or how to get more room in your budget, or just how to live more frugally. If you don't have any debt, but you feel like you've been spending more than you want and you want some ideas for living frugal, I hope this helped you. I will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.